Welcome to All Things Cardio-Oncology. My name is Steve Caselli. I'm the Executive Director of ICOS. And in this podcast, you'll hear from a diverse representation from our community. We want you to be both informed and inspired by their stories and experiences, and we're so glad that you've joined us today. The following episode was recorded live at the American College of Cardiology meeting in Atlanta, Georgia on April 6, 2024. Other than some background noise because we were sitting outside enjoying a beautiful day, we know that you will enjoy this conversation. This is Steve Caselli. We're at the American College of Cardiology meeting in Atlanta, Georgia, and I'm here with my colleague Dan Lenahan, founding director of ICOS, and with our friend Renato Lopes, who is going to tell us a little bit about his work in Brazil. But Dan, how are you doing today?
It's a wonderful, beautiful day here in Atlanta, so we're enjoying being outside, and Renato is going to tell us all about his great efforts in Brazil and some of his colleagues that we've enjoyed working with over the years, and I know you got a lot going on right now. So what do you have to say about all that?
Well, so first of all, thanks guys for the invitation. It's great to be here with you guys, and particularly in person. We've been interacting so much over emails, over the pandemic with programs and talks, and it's really nice to be in person together. And and yes, Dan, we are doing a lot of things in cardio-oncology in Brazil. I think the most recent things that we are actually focusing a lot is in a really, really strong education program, which is affiliated to the Ministry of Education of the country. So the MedIQ and the BCRI, the organizations that are organizing the course in a really structured way, not only covering the theoretical aspects of cardio-oncology in very strong modules with the interaction between cardiologists and oncologists in each different areas of oncology, and also in each different areas of cardiology, including imaging, biomarkers, prevention, things like that. So a very comprehensive program divided in modules to give a really thoughtful and careful and comprehensive education around cardio-oncology. But not only that, we also think that it's very important that people get to know how to understand minimally scientific articles and clinical research. So we build into the program also essentials, if you will, about clinical research. So people can be better prepared to read an article. People can be better prepared to interpret a trial result, understand the limitations, understand how to read a guideline. We have in cardio-oncology, the majority of the recommendations are not class or level of evidence A, which means the level of certainty that we have around those recommendations is very low. And if you appreciate how evidence is generated, how it's generated, how difficult it is to generate, what are the limitations, what are the difficulties, what are the barriers, I think people get a better critical view on how to read a recommendation in a guideline, or read the result of a trial, or read the result of a study that is not even randomized, and trying to, for example, not overstate the results, because sometimes you cannot infer cause and effect relationship, for example. So really principles that are so basic, but we feel that in medical school we don't get that. And then all of a sudden we are treating patients, and sometimes we are reading abstracts only and trying to make decisions with patients based on studies that are flawed, with several limitations that cannot answer the question that they propose to answer. So I truly believe that having essentials knowledge, the essential and the basic knowledge in clinical research and around scientific methods make us a better doctor. So we build that into the educational program. It's a 1-year program, 360 hours, so it's a very, very It's a very
That's pretty intense.
It's very intense.
So, kind of like when Brazil won our initial Champions League.
Yeah.
The intensity for which they celebrated, it sounds like that's what you guys are doing.
That's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. João was part of the...
Nobody ever accused the Brazilians of not having some enthusiasm?
Yeah, for sure. Ariane and Carol, they put a lot of effort in that celebrations, and they're close friends of mine, and we do lots of things together. And now bringing the even newer generation, like João, who was one of the winners there, super talented person with a few others. They are helping to lead now the program, the educational program, because that's how it should be also. We should open space for the talented next generation come and get leadership positions. I think part of why academia is so broke up is because people stay too much in power.
A little too much top down.
Correct.
Yeah.
And then we don't bring fresh blood. So we need to be rejuvenating. We need to be bringing fresh blood. We need to bring junior talents to be able to not only grow them as leaders, help them and teach them how to be leaders, but also to leave a legacy. Otherwise, nobody can do everything forever.
No.
So I think that's part of the spirit that we have behind this course and the leadership of the course. We have Susan Dent helping as well, you Dan with a few talks, and Teresa Lopes, which you know well. She's now helping with the oversight of the program. So we also bring in now this international flavor to the course, which is great because it's a great venue for people to talk about differences in how care is being done or is being delivered in Europe versus the US versus in South America. So I think this international flavor of sharing experiences is so important for the students who are learning, because they can then create their own model, their own standards, their own practice. And we hope this will be the best practice that they can ever have with their patients.
Well, and I think your comments before about certainly the educational piece being a critical component, but also understanding clinical research. I would add a little more to that, which is basically what you're doing. But if you show people how a particular research study, attempted to answer the question and maybe they didn't get to the answer, or they got close and new wrinkles came up. The bottom line is that you want them to then design or do the research in the future that would give us a better answer.
Correct.
So that's really the next step, what you're building on.
Correct. And you're spot on, and I can anticipate that we are already there. Let me tell you why. Because a part of the course, we have homeworks for students to do. We have live sessions. We have case discussions, tumor boards, things like that, where we can have the multidisciplinary approach. But we also have live exercise on how to interpret clinical studies. And as part of the final task in the program, for them to be able to graduate, they need to do a project where they have to design a study.
Super.
So not just based on the cardio-oncology or oncology aspect of the course, but to design a study, you have to understand methods. You have to understand a little bit of clinical research. And again, it doesn't need to be perfect, but they need to go through the exercise. Well, that's already incorporated. And then I'm super excited with the other piece, which is now we are going to the third class of the course. And these people are spread all over Brazil. And they are in sites. And we are now writing grants and putting studies proposals together to do national studies with the collaboration of all these people who were students and now got to like research, and now they can do research in their places, but contributing to a national or even local, regional, like South America, study. And there are a few initiatives already ongoing, and with the power that Brazil has in terms of number of patients, number of sites, number of motivated motivated investigators. I think we are building then a really unique cardio-oncology family, if you will, that not only can be on the same page in terms of the knowledge, in terms of the research, but can actually help together to generate new evidence and change the landscape of the guidelines to have many more level of evidence A recommendations than we currently have.
Super. Yeah, and I mean, honestly, we look to you guys to how to pattern, our own, the international particular cardio-oncology efforts. So one of the projects that we've been working on for a while is a master's level program, and we are patterning it somewhat after what you're doing and then also what Teresa's doing in Madrid.
Correct.
And so we greatly appreciate all of what you guys are doing, and if we could kind of ride on your coattails on that, then that's what we're looking to do. But how could we apply that in more locations than just in Brazil?
Correct.
And I mean, that's not your particular problem, but that's our problem in general, is
Correct.
In the U.S. or in England or wherever we're talking about. How do we build those networks
Correct.
of committed people that
Correct.
connect with each other in a very real way?
Absolutely, and I've been thinking a lot about that, and Teresa and Susan and I are putting together some initiatives to collaborate with ICOS. We're gonna actually approach you guys very soon about it. We even have a name for the initiative already.
No.
Well, we'll
Okay.
consider this, we're already approached.
Okay,
So
here we go.
that's,
So here we go. So but basically, without giving too many details at this point, but maybe we should do another podcast only on that. We want to create a group of people globally that can work together with ICOS and stimulate and synergize all the ICOS activities, but also get ICOS to be part of that, as well as other organizations, other associations, other scientific societies, pharma, patients' representatives, device companies. So really bring everybody together in a momentum where we can not just do more of the same things, but how can we move the needle? How can we really create something together with the support from everyone, and everybody feels part of the team, so everybody gives to the team because there is a bigger purpose out there. And the big purpose out there, or the larger purpose out there, is to be innovative, create trials that can provide clinical answers to our patients that the whole world is going to benefit from. And I think the only way to do that then is if we join efforts. We have to take the ego outside. We need to take the academic hierarchy outside. We need to all work together as team members in pro of the same objective. And if we do that, I believe we can then start moving the needle in cardio-oncology, just like we have done in other areas, in other specialties.
Yeah, no, I'm very enthusiastic and bullish on the idea that this will happen. I mean, with people like you and Ariane and Caroline and all the people that you work with all the time, we know what you're capable of.
Yeah, no, it's exciting.
We expect that there'll be big things, but we also need to figure out how to do that in a variety of locations.
Correct, and I think the key is to have people representing all the key locations to begin with, and get growing from there. And that's what we are trying to do. And Teresa and Susan are also super excited. And yes, we need maybe a core team to make things happen, but we want to have a large steering committee with everyone that wants to join, with everyone who enjoy medicine and cardio-oncology and clinical research, to bring different pieces of expertise to the table, and then have patients part of that, have company be part of that, have regulators, the FDA, the Anvisa in Brazil, the EMA in Europe, having all these guys being part of that initiative. Because I think that if we have everybody, all the stakeholders together with a common goal, we can then again move the needle in not doing more of the same, but doing things that are innovative, they are impactful in patients' life, and as I always say, then having fun. It has to be fun, because if not fun, then life is too hard already. No. So we have to be doing things that are impactful, that are with people that we enjoy working with, and having fun. That's my triple pillars right now.
Those are good pillars. I certainly go along with those. So Renato, you have to explain, you've already explained this to me before, but how exactly did you navigate being at Duke and in Brazil at the same time? Aren't those two kind of physically separated?
Well, they are physically separated, but it's a lot of work. It's a lot of personal sacrifice. When people ask me how much time I spend here or there, I usually say, well, 70% at Duke and 70% in Brazil, because that's how it feels. That's how it feels. But honestly, I think, first of all, I think it's important to be doing the right things and in a transparent way. So things that we do in Brazil, we try to link with Duke as much as possible, and it's part of our Duke mission to bring our knowledge, to bring our experience to other places, including South America. So I think I'm really happy when I see a Brazilian clinical research institute that I founded 15 years ago becoming the first ARO in South America, and now running multiple trials, very well established, working with the NIH in the US to run trials in Brazil. And this was a dream that I had many years ago, and I got the support from all the leaders at that time at Duke, Bob Harrington, Rob Califf, all the guys who were dealing and leading DCRI and Duke supported me in the idea. And then, of course, all the other leaders that came after that continued to support. So it's somehow what I was able to do is to link the initiatives down there to what we do at Duke in a way that is despite being separate entities and despite being separate countries, despite being separate continents, North America or South America, we are linked by the people, and we are linked by the principles, and we are linked by the objectives that we want to improve patient care through innovative clinical research. And I think when we can get everybody on the same page, aligned, it's much easier to make it happen. It's difficult in the personal side. It's a sacrifice on the personal side to be able to be in both countries a lot. Sometimes I go back and forth 2-3 times in a week. So really, really hard. But at the same time now, building the new generation also in Brazil would allow me to go maybe back less, and also helping to create new models at Duke, and to also bring the new generation of leaders at Duke, also somehow make my life a little bit easier. And I think that's the goal, right? You start growing people, and they take over things that you were used to do, and they can do probably better than you. And I think when we get to that level, that means that we did a great job.
Yeah. So Renato, this has been super interesting, and we really greatly benefit from all your efforts, and then of course your colleagues in Brazil. But we'll look forward to an update at some point, maybe in our next big meeting or whatever that we're at, and see what kind of developments have happened. But we really appreciate your time today. So
thanks. Has been great to see you guys and to discuss about things that I feel very passionate about it and that I truly believe, and to be able to now navigate through a larger group of the Cardio-Oncology family across the globe, and bringing this team together in a collaborative effort, and it's really rewarding. And I think we are going to have some really good news soon to you guys, so stay tuned, because I think ICOS is going to embark with us in this really cool initiative.
That sounds awesome. Thank you so much.
Okay, thanks guys.
For more information about ICOS, you can go to ic-os.org, where you'll find more information about all of our programs, including our weekly webinars, our board certification exam, and other resources that we know you'll find helpful. Thanks for joining us today, and we hope to hear from you soon.